Welcome, welcome. This is My Favorite Mortgage Podcast. I'm Jaimie Booth, a licensed loan officer in Arizona and in Texas, and you're listening to a podcast that allows you behind the curtains of everything home buying. So thank you so much for listening, and today we have a guest with us, Chad Kasper, Pillar to Post Home Inspector.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on.
I'm so excited. I have this box that the microphone's sitting on. It's lovely.
You know, we kind of start getting going before the cameras actually record. And Chad is very tall. And
freakishly tall.
When I was with you yesterday, I was automatically going, okay, these mics are pretty low. What can I do? So I started setting up before you got here. And now he's got his box that he's hugging.
The box is better than you making me kneel on the floor. So this is an upgrade. I'm okay with the box.
So this is his pet box.
My precious.
We ran into each other yesterday.
Yes.
And we had our annual Tucson Realtors Association Expo. And here comes Chad, 6'20", in this neon green.
It's like a limeish green. It's one of my colors.
The same color, only brighter.
Yeah, not as bad as this. No, worse than this. This one's not as bad.
Suit and matching tie.
And shoes.
I had to ask,
you can't forget the
where
shoes.
Where did you find this outfit?
So that ensemble, not including like shirt and pants, but was like $80 total.
On Amazon?
$70 for the suit on Amazon, $10 for the shoes on TikTok.
TikTok shop, guys.
Yep. And it came with two ties. It has the regular tie and there's a bow tie. A lime green bow tie.
Oh, God, the bow tie would have been so cool.
Yeah.
But we had a theme yesterday. It was called A Journey in Time. And so there were different booths. And we had, Bridgerton. We had Egyptian. My booth was the hippie 70s. And you were in this bright green suit. So
our theme was awesomeness.
I was thinking 80s.
Okay. There was an 80s booth, but we were not 80s. It was just me being silly and goofy.
And lime green.
It's
his colors.
I'm shooting for the Riddler's job. That's why I wear it.
Oh, you can have a bunch of question marks.
Yeah, just stick a bunch of question marks. I'm going to start selling patent stuff online late at night, infomercials. Joe remembers those commercials. We are so far off subject right now.
That's all right.
That's
okay.
You know why?
Because this is just chit-chatting. But, all right. Well, before we get into our episode, we do like to do some fun things.
Okay.
I don't always tell dad jokes, but when I do, he really likes them.
I am a dad joke king.
Did I tell you when I recently went to Long Island for a wedding? Did I tell you that one? No? And so when I was getting my luggage, there was this poor guy, and he fell onto the baggage carousel. But he was okay. He slowly came back around.
I'm stealing that one. I'm so stealing that one. How do you know when a joke becomes a dad joke?
I don't know.
It becomes apparent.
I think we have said that one.
I think I say that one all the time. That one's my favorite dad joke.
That one is.
That one's really good.
Interesting.
My favorite home inspector dad joke is if you fall in your driveway, you trip and fall in your driveway, it's your own asphalt.
Ah.
Joe liked that one. That one's my favorite.
That's a good one.
That one's a really good one.
You got to go on TikTok and tell that
I've done that one on TikTok.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all my TikTok is just me saying stupid dad jokes and puns.
That's what this is, guys. Really?
It's for my own entertainment, really. It's other than that.
So why don't ants get sick?
Ooh. I have no idea.
Because they have little antibodies.
Mm-hmm. Do you know how you make an octopus laugh?
How?
Tentacles.
Oh, that's a good one.
Trust me, I have a whole database.
That's what I told him. I said, come prepared.
Database? Joe got that one. You missed that one.
I did.
Database. I did that on a Zoom call with like 90 people, and they were like, Chad, how do you know all these jokes? I'm like, I keep them in a database, and no one laughed. I was so mad. I got off that call. was like, screw this. You guys suck. I'm going somewhere where they appreciate my humor. And that's why I'm here today with you.
Well, thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
And, oh my gosh, that was a good one. I'm going to have to use that one. Tentacles.
10 tickles.
10 tickles. Okay. All right. Well, before we get into what you do,
okay,
which is home inspecting, tell me a little bit more about Pillar to Post.
Yeah. So Pillar to Post it's a national franchise. So I am one of a couple of local owners here in town.
Okay.
So I've been in business since 2017. We've grown to, I've got 5 inspectors now, a couple of admin office staff. So yeah, we've just grown and become a household name here in Southern Arizona. So, yeah.
And can you tell our listeners what the difference is? I get asked this constantly. The difference between an appraisal and a home inspection.
Yeah, I get asked this all the time.
Right.
So the appraiser is there to determine the value of the home.
Right.
We don't do anything with value, nothing with finance, nothing with money, nothing with the purchase price of the house. We're there strictly to look at the safety and function of the home. So we're looking at all the structural components, all the mechanical functions, all of that fun stuff. So we're just trying to determine the condition of the home at time of purchase.
So that you can advise them.
Correct.
Like, hey, these are some things you may want to check out. These are the things that are red flags.
Yeah. So we're basically like your general practitioner doctor. So we kind of go in there just to do a checkup. Just, hey, these are some things that you may want to go look at and go see a specialist. So, a specialist could be electrician, HVAC, roofer, what have you. So we're very well versed in all of the areas of the home, but we are generalists, and it is a limited visual inspection. So we're not dismantling anything. We're not taking anything apart. We're just making sure that things turn on and off.
Looking behind stuff?
We try to look behind things. We're not allowed to move personal property. We're not tearing open walls, despite what you see on HGTV. There are some fun TV shows that are not accurate. But yeah, so it is visual. But yeah, we're looking for just making sure the home is safe and sound, making sure it's a good investment. So I would say overall, my job is 2 primary responsibilities. For our homeowners, it's to ensure confident home ownership. Mm-hmm. And then for the real estate professionals, it's to help them save time and money. And so we have a lot of different programs, a lot of different things that we do that you won't find anywhere else in the industry that really just helps our professionals make their jobs easier and helps the clients just get the information that they need.
Yeah. Yeah. And on the other hand, an appraisal, like you mentioned, is for value. And that's what I need for the mortgage to make sure that the home is worth what we're lending on. But our appraisers are not going to go up on the roof, go in crawl space. They're not going to do any of that. They're measuring for square footage, and they're looking for 3 main things on all the loans, guys. Let's just make this really clear. An appraisal is the same person going to do FHA, VA, conventional. They're looking for health, safety, sanitation. But they're not going up on roofs.
No.
You are.
Yep.
So that's the difference, I would say, is value versus, what did you call it?
Safety and function.
Safety and function.
Condition.
The
physical
stuff.
condition of the home.
Yeah. Yeah. An appraiser's not looking underneath,
he's not checking outlets. He's not opening up the electric panel.
Right.
He's not running the AC. Like they don't do any of that. That's all us.
So, thank you so much for letting our listeners know, because like you said, I get asked that constantly, and it gets interchangeable.
Yeah.
People will say, because we have an appraisal inspection, because that word is kind of tied. They
hear inspection and they think we are all one and the same, and we're not.
Right. So thank you for that. You want to play a little game about home inspections?
Sure. Let's do it.
Wow. Have you heard of What's Your Ick?
Yes.
Okay.
Just before I came on this.
What's your pet peeve?
Pet peeve.
But that's what's trending is
so
what's your
takes,
ick?
Right? Hot takes. Okay.
So I've got one in particular, though. What is your home flip ick?
Ooh, home flips. Okay. I always call it the lipstick on a pig. We'll go into it's a very old house. So likely, it's got bad plumbing, bad wiring, not bad, but just older.
Right.
And the flipper will come in and just put in new carpet and paint. And they're like, oh my gosh, everything looks great. And it's so pretty. And then we're like, yeah, this wiring's bad. It's going to start a fire. And it's just like, what are we doing? So I always call it the lipstick on a pig, or they paint over like wood rot. And it's like, guys, I know what you're doing. Like, I'm not dumb. Like, we find all their like cover-ups. So
almost like the landlord cover up.
Yeah, it's the landlord special.
And then they'll mark it up $60,000 just for
paint. And they didn't even do a great paint job either. It's like my 6-year-old could do a better job. I'm kidding.
No,
you
you're
can
not.
edit that out. I'm not kidding.
What's another ick for home inspections?
Ooh, probably my biggest ick is, and we kind of talked about this before, but I'm going to expand on it a little bit. So it's not having the home ready for inspections, because we need access to the attic, the electric panel. People like literally just leave like dirty dishes in the sink. They'll leave all their dirty clothes in the washing machine, and it's like, guys, we're coming today. Like, I need access to these things. And people like on vacant houses, they'll turn off all the utilities.
Turning off the utilities.
And I'm like, guys, it's in the contract. You have to leave the utilities on. And so now I got to make a second trip. And then I call it the stupid tax, because I charge the seller to have us come back and reinspect anything that we couldn't because they turned off the gas, water, electric, or whatever.
Yeah.
And so that's really frustrating. Is we finally get under contract. Clients are excited,
right? And
I'm there, and it's like, okay, well, I can't run the water heater, the furnace, and the stove because there's no gas.
Utilities. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, we just wanted to save a couple of bucks. Like, oh my gosh. Well, now you get to pay a reinspection fee. So,
right. What would have been less expensive? Keeping the utilities on a vacant house with no one using
a
hardly
$10
anything.
gas fee, or $150 for me to come back and like turn on the oven. Like, come on.
It's one of my icks as well.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
And it is, like you mentioned, written in a purchase contract that the seller has to leave the utilities on until it closes.
It's like going to test drive a car and it not having any gas. And then being like, oh, just drive it around. Well, there's no gas. Well, figure it out. No, that's your job to sell your car.
Right.
Put gas in it.
Right.
I don't need a full tank. I just need enough to get around the block. Like, come on.
Turning the utilities off. So make sure your agents, if you're selling your house, please make sure that you leave the utilities on. It's not going to be very much. What's another ick? Do you want?
You want to talk about this one?
You want
the big one?
Yeah.
Or you want to do the part-time one? We have two.
I have the part-time one.
Do we want to do the other one?
Yeah, go for it.
We'll do the other one. Okay. So obviously our job is to note various things. So we check up to 1,600 different items on the home. So it's a very thorough, comprehensive report. And some guys in the industry have way too complex reports to read. Ours is very, very simple. It's mainly like colored photos and bullet point statements. Like my 10-year-old could read it.
And that's what we need.
Like, tell me what I need to know, highlight the important stuff. And so probably over the last about month or so, I have had probably a dozen calls from people being like, hey, you did an inspection for me. This is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. Here's the bill. You need to pay this. And I'm like, okay, let me look at your report. And the first thing I do is I open the report, and guess what? All those items that you said I missed are in the report. And then they all go, well, I didn't read the report.
I didn't read the report.
That's what you're paying me for.
Yeah.
And the sad part is it's been real estate agents who are like, oh, I just listened to what you said verbally in the wrap-up, but I don't ever read your reports.
Oh, my God.
Like, you're killing me, Smalls. Like, that's my job. Sometimes on Facebook, they'll be like, describe what you do, but badly. And I tell people all the time, my job is to come out with a comprehensive report detailing the structure and mechanical workings of the home for people to ignore because they're worried about the color of the drapes. That's my job, badly. And it frustrates me because it's like, hey, I want you to pay $10,000 for this repair. No, I called it out. I told you need to get that looked at. I told you that needs to be addressed.
Right. Why would that be your responsibility?
That's not my responsibility anymore.
Yeah.
Like, if I miss something, yes, I will take full ownership and accountability of that, but it's in your report. And they're like, well, I didn't read it.
How many pages is a normal report?
Normally, my reports, because we are required to note a lot of things in the report.
And
so
1,600 is a lot.
1,600 is a lot. So usually for like a pretty clean house, it's going to be normally like 25 to about 30, 35 pages.
But this
the most
is the
are like 40 or
report
less.
card
This is the report card
of this house. Why would you've got to look at it.
you have to read it.
Yeah.
Because there's tons of information in there, not just like the bad things of the house, but we also note the good things. We have to note where things are located. Like, where's your water main at? How do you do that? There's home maintenance tips.
I don't know where my water main is. I don't know where my gas main is either. I hope my hubby knows.
I'll come do an inspection and then you'll know.
No.
She won't read the report. It's okay. And then she'll come and be like, Chad, you missed stuff.
Hey, my water heater went out. You inspected
at least,
3 months ago.
At least her electric will be on, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
I was doing the hippie thing, so maybe I was like
free spirit
living off the grid.
Yeah, living off of Mother Earth.
It was so much fun yesterday.
It was a lot of fun yesterday. It was a great day.
So we have been planning this event for months and months and months and months, right? This is a big deal. We sponsor booths. We get dressed up. It's themed every year. And there was a little surprise for us yesterday morning.
Oh, yeah.
That was not part of the plan.
No, not at all.
Caused a major disruption.
Yeah.
Trump visited Tucson yesterday. And people couldn't get in. There was cop cars everywhere.
It was a nightmare.
It was the building directly next door to us where he had his rally.
Yeah.
And it was a shame because I had people that I had invited and they're texting. They're like, we're in traffic. We haven't moved in 35 minutes. I can't make it.
Yeah. It was frustrating.
Yeah.
It was frustrating. That was my first time doing it. But the guy that I was partnering with, Bug Stop.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah. So we partnered together. So we worked together on the termite side of things. And he was like, yeah, last year it was way busier.
So it was. I mean, we still had a pretty good turnout, but
it was still a good event.
It would have been far more if we hadn't had that last minute,
surprise.
event. Yeah, surprise.
It was,
I don't know.
I learned about it yesterday, like the afternoon before, and I'm like, oh crap! Now I have to get there earlier, and yeah,
it was pretty bad, and there were thousands and thousands of people lined up.
At least they reserved a parking lot for just our event.
Just us. Yeah.
That was nice.
So we had to deal with that. Let's see what else.
What was the other ick? Do we want to do the other ick?
The other ick that we were talking about, I would say it's kind of industry-wide because we deal with part-time people in our industry. If you're doing this kind of servicing to help people buy a house, one of my icks is part-time realtors, part-time lenders, and you said there's even part-time inspectors.
Yeah. So I would say from what my personal experience, as far as the inspectors go, I've never had a part-time inspector work out.
Yeah.
Because I've always felt part-time effort is what you get from part-time results, you know? And so that's always been frustrating to me in any industry, whether that's real estate, whatever. It's like, do you want to go to the brain surgeon who only works 1 day a week? Probably not. No.
Probably not.
And he's probably a very qualified surgeon, or she, but I want the person that's in the trenches every day, the person that's doing this every day.
Eat, breathe, living the moment now, because yesterday was different than tomorrow will be.
Right.
If you're not.
Things change. Things get updated. In fact, it's funny because I'm not doing a lot of personal inspections anymore because I built my team and I'm running my business and doing all the marketing events.
You got 5 guys.
Yeah. And people, not the burgers, but I've got 5 guys.
Damn.
They're in and out.
I'm having for lunch.
They're in and out. Sorry.
No, you're not.
That came out of nowhere.
I set you up for it.
You set me up and I knocked that one out of the park.
Good job.
I know,
Home run.
Right? I know. And it's funny because clients and agents be like, no, it has to be Chad. It has to be Chad. And I'm like, you don't want me doing your inspection because they are way better than I am. And they're like, are they? And I'm like, yes. Yes, they are.
You train them.
I train them. I train them all myself. But they're in the trenches every day. It's funny because I'll go out to an inspection with them. I'll stop by and I'll follow up. I'm like, oh, hey, did you see this? And they're like, oh yeah, no, the new rule, the new code and this and that and the other. And I'm like, I didn't even know that. But they're out in the field every day.
Like maybe a city code or something?
So just something that changes. City code changes, national building codes change. Gotcha. And they're like, oh yeah, no, this is the new rule. And I'm like, when did that change? And they're like, that's been a while, Chad. And I'm like, I need to get out in the field more.
It happens with mortgages too.
Yeah.
There'll be some update to a loan guideline. Hey, we need this P&L. And I'm like, then I'll get a loan 6 months later.
Yeah. Every now and then they get me, but sometimes I'm like, no, guys, this is how it is. They're like, oh yeah, you're right. I'm like, yeah, I'm still the boss. But every now and then they get me, and I'm like, man, like, but like I get out in the field and I'm rusty. It takes me like a little bit of time to find my groove again, because I'm not doing it day in and day out multiple times a day. Whereas they're on the ball.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is a lot of work. I'm like, I'm going to go back and just take realtors out to lunch and go wear my lime green suit at the Tucson Convention Center for no reason. Like that's where my strong suit is. They're much better at it. And so that's why I say the part-time can be an ick.
Yeah. I don't blame you. Any last words or red flags that a buyer should start thinking about when it comes to home inspections?
I think from what my experience has been is the inspection's always kind of an afterthought. It's always, everybody's very, very, very excited because they go see a bunch of houses. Mm-hmm. They're getting the mortgage approval. They're pre-approved. And it's just all very exciting. It's all very much a rush. And then all of a sudden it comes time for the inspection. And that's kind of where reality kind of sets in. And people are like, okay, this is real. Like we need to know how to do this. And so as a buyer, you have the right to pick your own inspector. You do not have to go with who the realtor recommends. Mm-hmm. Although most of our business is realtor referral. So I would always say, do your homework and find the right inspector for you. Right.
Full-time.
Ick. Full-time. But don't just shop on price, because you get what you pay for.
Yes.
Price is only an issue in the absence of service and value. And there are some really great inspectors that provide really good value, and there's some guys that are good inspectors, but they don't provide much value beyond that. And so there's a lot more outside of just the inspection. Like, what are some of the other tools and services that they offer that can really help you out in your home buying purchase?
And one of them you touched on was just being able to read this report.
Right. And I have a lot of agents that will send me a report and go, what is this saying? And it's not even my report. It's one of my competitors. And sometimes I'm
too technical.
I'm like, what the heck is this? Like, I'm like flipping through and I'm like, where is what's wrong with the house? It's all like disclosures and infographics that aren't even anything that's helping me out. So sometimes I'm like, dude, just get to the point. Like, what's wrong? Yeah. Like, what do I need to do?
Right.
And so I'm always the firm believer of KISS. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
And so our reports, I don't use a lot of technical wording in there because I want to talk at the level of my clients.
Right.
I want them to be able to understand. And again, all of our photos match up with the comment, whereas like a lot of guys, their photos are like all on one page. And it's like
down here, and then you got to kind of go back and forth.
Please see page 180, picture number 7B, subsection J, captain's log, start date 9.12. Like, what the heck are you talking about? Like, just put your picture with your comment. Like, So anyway, so that's why I always say, like, I always tell clients, like, go get a sample report.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great idea.
Go get a sample report, because that's our final product.
Hey, they have to get a loan estimate. That's a great idea. I'm definitely going to encourage my buyers to do that. Thank you for that.
Sample product.
Let me ask you this. I know I'm going to be asked this. What is an average cost for a home inspection?
Yeah, so depending on square footage and what other ancillary services you're doing.
Like a pool.
Yeah, so we're a one-stop shop. So we do everything in-house. Pool inspections, sewer scoping, termite inspections. We just added solar inspections. So we do it all. So if you look at just the standard like base inspection.
3-bedroom, 2-bath.
It's probably going to be in the ballpark range of about $400 to $500.
That's not bad.
It's not bad at all for the peace of mind.
That is priceless.
And you're going to be able to renegotiate based off of what I'm finding. Typically, the average is about $10,000, $12,000, somewhere around there.
Wow.
So you give me $400 or $500, I'll give you back $10,000 to $12,000. Why wouldn't you take that deal?
Yeah. And it's optional too.
It is not a requirement.
Yeah.
But
I don't want to see it either as a lender.
No, like, lenders don't want to see my report because you guys wouldn't write a loan on some of these houses. I'm not going to lie.
I don't want to know what's wrong with the house. I want to lend you money.
I want to give you money. The appraiser sometimes wants to see it. But no, so our report is strictly for the client.
Yes.
And that's one thing I love about being an inspector is we are truly that impartial third party.
Yeah.
Because in a real estate transaction, you're either emotionally or financially invested in that. I'm neither. I get to be just
Switzerland.
Yeah, I'm Switzerland.
Yeah.
I get to make knives and cheese and chocolate. That's all I get to do, and it's awesome. I love it.
And have some sort of super collider.
Yeah, that too. Just banging atoms together and causing all sorts of havoc.
I've been on a Big Bang Theory kick right now. We're
I love
watching
that show.
we watch from season 1 all the way through the end and just rewatch it again.
I love that show.
It's so good. Well, thank you again to Chad Kasper with Pillar and Post Home Inspections. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And guys, if you have any questions on that, you can find Chad's information down in the link below. You can always reach out to us at myfavemortgage@gmail.com. And want to thank Chad again. If you're thinking about buying or even selling and you need a guy that loves a box, he likes to think outside of the box too. I don't know. I'm trying.
It's never ending on this. This is great.
I am trying. Make sure you like this video. Follow us on all major platforms and share this with anyone you know that is either thinking about buying a home or even new builds. That was one thing I forgot to mention is we do
a lot of new builds.
Home inspections on new builds.
Get it inspected.
Yes.
So I'm not going to talk bad about builders because I think they are trying their best. But a lot of builders will tell their clients, hey, this is a brand new house. We have it inspected for you. That's not the case. Mm-mm. You need to have a third-party inspection done.
Right.
Protect your largest investment.
Exactly. So you can find Chad's information below. Please share this with anyone. You can find us on Spotify, streaming on my YouTube channel at myfavoritemortgage.com with Jaimie Booth. Thanks again for joining us. Happy Friday the 13th.
Yay.
Bye.